Right, you're gonna have to excuse any crunchy noises. Our puppy has just discovered the joys of socks. So I've had to give her a chew toy. So I'm sorry if you hear crunchy noises. That's because baby girl is having a good old munch in the background. La 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 Hi friends, it is Sam and welcome to the Flux Files, a series all about being Aceflux. In this video I thought I'd dive into Tumblr. I got a Tumblr a few months ago and I didn't really use it, to be honest, but last time I was on there I found some Aceflux thingies, so I thought I'd dive in and share them with you today. Would have been a good idea if I fired up my computer before I hit record, but here we are. I'm a mess. Are you okay? Websites are so hard to log into these days. Roxanne! Beg your pardon.
What are you doing? That is my tub of Vaseline.
Without any more disaster, let's get into it. Aceflux Tumblr. How do I find the things I've hearted? I would totally get these badges. Not the gender one because my gender is cis female, but those badges are excellent. Me, I'm a romantic asexual. Them, you don't know what you're missing out on. Cusco, don't know, don't care. He seems very arrow ace. Shout out to Arrowflux people. Shout out to Arrowflux people who flux between every spot on the spectrum, and to people who only flux between a couple spots. Shout out to Arrowflux people who feel like they're faking it, and to Arrowflux people who are completely certain in their identities. Shout out to Arrowflux people who fluctuate all the time, and to people who take months to fluctuate. Shout out to Arrowflux people who want a romantic relationship, and to people who don't. Shout out to Arrowflux people who aren't ever sure what their orientation is. Shout out to Arrowflux people who don't know they're Arrowflux because they've never heard of it before. You're awesome. That's sweet. This one. For me, being Arrowflux kind of looks like this. I love those things. They are so fun. Kind of like the swinging ship rides. Only one side is Romo, and the other side is total arrow. And you don't really know when the ship is going to swing, just that it does it quite a lot. But when it does, you just kind of end up screaming and clinging on for dear life, you know? The weirdest thing is, when you're up for that Romo side, it's kind of hard to remember what it's like to be on your arrow side. You're like, oh cool, this is nice. There's probably never a time when I truly do not want to hold Chris Evans' hand. I would probably always be up for a little smooching on Scarlett Johansson. And then suddenly, without warning, after an indefinite amount of time, the ship swings, and you white knuckle the sides of that boat, and you shriek until your lungs hurt, and you end up comfortably on the other side. And then suddenly, you cannot, for the life of you, remember what romantic attraction is like. Ugh, you think, dear God, I have no desire to hold hands with any cuties. I can't fathom romantic attraction in the slightest. Still want to go to Disney World with Tom Hardy, but only as friends. No Romo. I am the least romantic being to walk this earth. I am so arrow that it would be physically impossible to date me. I am undateable. And so you're super comfy in your neat little arrow headspace, and you're just getting really used to it. You've brought a pillow and everything. You've ordered pizza to be delivered there even. When the ship swings again, and you're back to screaming and clinging to the sides of the boat, because even though you cognitively know that this happens a lot, it's still a f***ing shock. Because every time you end up at one end of the goddamn swing, your brain, despite your strongest urgings, thinks, ah yes, perfection. This is where I shall always remain. Well, that's how I experience being Arrowflux. Your mileage may vary. That is excellent. That is the best metaphor I've ever heard. I'm tired of seeing Aceflux/Arrowflux described as fluctuating, but always on the ace-arrow spectrum. Like, no. Some days I feel full-on romantic and sexual attraction, and some days I feel none whatsoever. See, that is hella valid, but I am the former, I'm afraid. I'm fluctuating, but always aspec and arispec. Understand, but don't relate. Aceflux mood. Me some days. I need a partner. Give me romance. I must date. Me other days. Don't f***ing touch me. I am unromanceable. Attraction? Who is she? Me other days. I want to be with you, but like not as a romance. Me other days. Do I like you? I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. So much this. So much this. Oh, arispec ask game. Should I do a video on this? Just a little arispec Q&A. Oh, that looks fun. I'm gonna do that. Thank you, Arrow Dirk. Some positive things about being Aceflux. A positive thing about knowing is being able to communicate with my partner about whether I want romantic interactions any given day. Being able to love in so many different ways at different times. Not being contained to the world's strict definitions of love. Being able to be fluid sometimes instead of being stuck with the same feelings. Especially if having the same crush for too long can be boring. Being able to look at the same person with different kinds of love depending on the time can make you appreciate different things about them. Being objective enough to give genuine relationship advice to friends because you can understand the loving side and the logic side. Being able to relate to all degrees of romantic attraction is cool. Understanding when someone's mind or feelings change and are less likely to take it personally. You thought you liked me but realised maybe not? Cool, let's be friends. Other person gets to decide if your relationship will be platonic or romantic because you're chill with either or somewhere in between. Okay, that's all the ones I hearted, but I'm gonna have a look and see if I can find some more cool Aceflux posts. I hope all arispec people are having a good night and find some extra cash lying around somewhere soon. That's cute. Let's look at Aceflux. Hey to anyone on the ace/ari spectrum specifically. I just want to say that it's fine if you feel something that's outside the definition of your orientation. If you thought you were 100% arrow ace, no way, and you end up being sexually/romantically attracted, cool. It also doesn't invalidate you if you still want to identify as all the way arrow ace. Any other variation on that situation where you experience attraction outside of your label, cool. You don't have to change it if it's what feels right to you, and that's really all that matters. If you flux or flow in your gender or orientation, if you're not sure if you do, if it confuses and frustrates you, here's a flower to improve your day. And I want you to know you are perfect exactly as you are and deserve to be happy in that. That's cute. If your gender, sexuality or romantic orientation fluxes, flows or changes, you are now magic. I am magic. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it there. This has been fun. This time on Tumblr has also given me a couple more video ideas. Micro labels for one thing. I want to talk about ace micro labels. There's a siren going off outside, I'm so sorry. I also want to do that little Q&A thingy that we saw a little snippet of. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more fun Aceflux, Aceflux content, subscribe. I will see you next time with another video. Have a lovely day. Bye!